What's going on, everybody? This is Shante Darby, and I appreciate you guys for definitely taking time out of your busy schedule and just to rock with me. So we are here basically having a real talk session. And if you followed Kingdom Culture TV in the past, or just the Shante Darby page on YouTube, you know I used to have a show called The Black Couch. So what The Black Couch did was brought people, entrepreneurs, and people that were doing things in the neighborhood just to talk about their journey and what got them started so that it can relate to people like me and you who wants to do things but just don't know where to start. So this is a Black Couch special. These live sessions are just real talk amongst brothers. So here we go. Share this video. If you're watching on Facebook, share the video. If you're watching on YouTube, send the link to somebody. You can hit the like, you can hit the subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. If you're watching on Twitter, definitely hit the like button and retweet. All right, cool. So from here on out, also, last thing, use the hashtag KCDOTTV. That's KC.TV, but spell DOT for dot. KCDOTTV. All right, so I got some special men in the room. Come on. I got some special men in the room. I have Derrek Pugh and the good Bishop. The good Aaron Bishop is in the house, and I'm just going to have them to introduce themselves.
Well, it's always a pleasure to be here at Kingdom Culture TV. My name is County Councilman Derrek Pugh. I represent District 2 of Richland County Council. I'm also the new executive director for a community-based outreach program for juvenile offenders by the name of Camp Aspen. It's a substance-based, community-based program. I'm excited about that. I'm actually a week and 2 days on the game, in the game. So definitely excited about that. Just a host of things I do in the community, but those are two of the top things that I do in the community, and I'm thankful to be here.
Sweet. Glad to have you, brother.
Hey, man, I'm the second half of the twins. For those who are trying to figure out, are those guys dressed alike?
Yes, we are.
We go to the same barber, by the way, as well. For those who don't know, allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Dr. Aaron Bishop. Also an elected official like my brother here. I am Commissioner Aaron Bishop of Richland School District 1, the past chairman of that district. And also I'm a pastor. I'm a pastor of Grace Christian Church here in Columbia. So those are three hats I can toggle between. But most of all, man, I call myself the return on investment.
Sweet.
As a native son of Columbia, South Carolina, man, I knew that I wouldn't find it robbery to come back and be a leader, not by title, but by just action. And, you know, me and my brother Derrek, that's what we do. We just don't talk about it, we be about it.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. And, man, what you talk about, return on investment, I think is very important for people to see, number one, Black people, but Black men doing things in the community, especially the community where they're from. You know, that's real special. For you being here, being a product of Richland One. I mean, Derrek, we just showed up here, but still, like again with the network, being able to show my people back at home. And Derrek, you made allude to it when you was talking to Benedict football team. Oh, yeah. You know, for your people back in your area,
yes.
To see that you know you are one of the councilmen of one of the largest districts in the state,
yeah,
and you come from a school that's known for football and
murder.
Yes. You know?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
And a part of the corridor of shame.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
That I-95 corridor. Man, and both of you guys are elected officials. So we're going to have Brother John Lewis. We're going to watch Brother John Lewis give us a message. Rest in peace, John Lewis. But let's hear from John Lewis.
In Charlotte, North Carolina, a young African-American tried to get a shoe shine at the Greyhound bus station. He was arrested and taken to jail. On that same day, we traveled to Rock Hill, South Carolina, about 25 miles from here. When my seatmate Albert Bigelow and I tried to enter a white waiting room, we were met by an angry mob that beat us and left us lying in a pool of blood. Some police officers came up and asked us whether we wanted to press charges. We said no. We come in peace, love, and nonviolence. We said our struggle was not against individuals, but against unjust laws and customs. Our goal was the true freedom for every American. Since then, America has made a lot of progress. We are a different society than we were in 1961. And in 2008, we showed the world the true promise of America when we elected President Barack Obama. A few years ago, a man from Rock Hill, inspired by President Obama's election, decided to come forward. He came to my office in Washington and said, "I am one of the people who beat you. I want to apologize. Will you forgive me?" I said, "I accept your apology." He started crying. He gave me a hug. I hugged him back, and we both started crying. This man and I don't want to go back. We don't want to go back. Brothers and sisters, do you want to go back? Or do you want to keep America moving forward? My dear friends, your vote is precious, almost sacred. It is the most powerful nonviolent tool we have to create a more perfect union.
Yo, that was a message from the Honorable Mr. John Lewis, which risked his life multiple times so we can just have the right to vote. So what does that mean for you guys who are elected officials?
It's almost deeper than that for me. Not only did he risk his life for us to be able to hold the positions that we hold today, but he risked his life so we could be able to sit here and talk about what we're talking about tonight.
Facts.
And I think it's important. I know the last time we had a conversation, it was that message was so surreal for me because I had an opportunity to meet the Honorable John Lewis maybe a couple of months before he passed. He was the Grand Marshal of last year's homecoming parade at Benedict.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was amazing. And I juggled with the thought process of should I approach him or I just catch him at another time? And I'm glad I did because I would have been heartbroken if I didn't go and do what my first mindset. So, for me, just the fortitude that those men and women had back in the day I'm a loss for words because we have trouble getting people to register and go and vote, and they don't even have remotely none of the adversity that those people faced back in the day.
Definitely.
It's just surreal, man.
Yeah.
I got to add to the conversation. And first of all, shouts out to Tasha, who's tuning in.
Come on,
Tasha,
now.
thank you for tuning in. It's part of your people over here, and we appreciate everything you do. But, man, there's something I live by because it's part of my dissertation. My dissertation was on the role of transformational leadership and the role of public-private partnership to impact the lives of impoverished youth. Wow. The story behind that is that the Messiah tribe says that instead of greeting each other with the voices of the expression hello and hi. They ask the question, how are the children? And the response is, all the children are well. And it's adults talking, but their concentration is on children. And so what they're saying is, if the children are okay, everybody else is okay. Well, when you speak to the question of, does voting matter or what's important to voting to me, here it is, two black men who actually have a relationship and a friendship all the way back to Benedict College as I was his dorm director.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah. Who are actually also good friends and fraternity brothers. Our wives know each other. But they also understand that we chose to be leaders in our community. And here's the connection. Me and this young man, we have the the responsibility to the votes that came in to take care of children.
That's the biggest thing.
He helps fund Richmond School District 1, where I make decisions to impact the lives of impoverished or challenged or just all children, period. And so when you look at voting, if you don't even look as far back as Edmund Pettus Bridge and the great Honorable John Lewis, and how his impact went all the way to the White House to get President Barack Obama to become the 44th President of the United States.
Absolutely.
Look at your children.
Yeah.
When you vote for these type of leaders in your community who know that children are first and children matter, children may be voteless because they can't vote, but they're not voiceless because parents are voting. And so we have to look at local elections. That's if you don't pick anything up, what I'm talking about is local elections. Local elections matter. And so as we look at this cycle of what is going on with the primary and even November, we gotta show up.
Yeah.
We have to have confidence in the vote because voting put a Derrek Pugh on the county council.
Absolutely.
Voting put an Aaron Bishop on Richmond School District 1. Voting has to be respected, loved, and recognized.
Absolutely.
Sonny, you got something else you want to do?
No. 'Cause you mess around. You ask us a question, we'll be talking about that question all night long.
I'm with it. It's a real talk session.
Yeah.
That's what it's here for.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad you brought up that point. I'm debating whether I should go to the next video so early. Let's run the next video because it ties in exactly what you just said. Let's run the next video and let's hear from Dave Pendergrass.
This is funny.
I don't like how we've done the voting movement. Just go vote. That is a lie. It's a lie. It is. It really is. Okay, go vote is the equivalent of you telling a woman who's lonely, just go to the club and get you a man. I mean, that's a lie. No, you have to research. You have to get to know. This is hiring. You're hiring a person. These people are in these positions, getting those salaries, being the person that you have to interact with their office for 6 years, 4 years, 2 years. Ain't nobody elected for 30 days. You're gonna have to deal with these people. You know what I mean? And so voting is when you know what you want, you find out who's offering it, you let them know, sir, I want you to know that I remember you making this promise. And I'm gonna back you because I believe that's necessary for this community. And then when they're elected and they don't do it, you say, sir, I need you to know that me and my church will never vote for you again. You know what I mean? Me and my neighborhood will never vote for you again, sir. Ever. I mean, that's where we stand right now. Unless you have some kind of Hail Mary to get to fixing our community or making good on the promise that you made us that caused us to vote for you right now. We're never voting for you again, sir. So you should. So I hope your arrears are in order in the private sector. Because what you did to us, we will let other people know what you've done to us. The promises that you broke to us, we will make sure that you do not continue to hold this position.
So, literally, he's saying, because you hear it all the time, just go vote, just go vote.
Yeah.
Just cast your ballot. But what you said specifically that when you vote for people like you two, that means you have to have some type of footprint or some type of resonance with the people that you're serving, not just some random person that decide to pay their money and put their name on the ballot.
Mm-hmm.
How important? I'm gonna start with you. How is it important for the community to have that involvement with the person that they're voting for, and vice versa?
Well, you said the right word, important. I always tell people it's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice. And what nice leaders do, they bring nice things to their community. See, when you just don't talk about it, but you be about it, you do what the work is needed to be done, you become a transformational leader. See, transactional leaders just show up, sit down in the seat, and don't do anything. But when you are a transformational leader, you lead from the front, not from the back. And that's what I try to practice. And Derrek is part of this initiative where we understand the plight and the fight of just sustainability of Black businesses. So we partner with something called Sold Out Saturday, where we literally are asking people to come out and support Black-owned local establishments, and we give them I think it's a huge donation, where they may use it for infrastructure, or if there's someone who comes in with a community need, and I mean a community need is our community need.
Right.
Let me tell you what's one of the critical things I learned about community. So everybody talks about Black Wall Street, and how where is Black Wall Street now, even here locally?
Right.
Well, you have to ask where are the leaders for Black Wall Street.
Facts.
If it takes a village to raise children, then who is raising the village? And let me give you this. I talked to Dr. Bobby Donaldson, who gave me this historical review of when we had Black Wall Street here. And I asked him this critical question. What happened? Why don't we have it anymore?
What was his response?
He said one word. He said, we don't have community anymore. Well, if you're going to have community, you have to have community leaders.
Right.
People who come and help lead from the front and not from the back. People who are part of the transformation and you see the change happening. It's a heavy lift. This ain't for the faint at heart.
No.
Doing this job, you make a lot of sacrifices.
Yeah.
You put your family second sometimes. You take away your own personal aspirations because you are for the people. And if you're not for the people, then who are you kidding? I stop right there, man. I can keep talking, bro.
That's huge on my list. I really honestly believe that, once you campaigning, you're interviewing for a job.
Yeah.
And it's left up to the people to either hire you, and it's also left up to the people to fire you. But I think it's important. One of the things that Dave said was, just telling people to go out and vote. And his analogy was crazy. Right? But, when you look at it in hindsight, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And so it has to be a little bit more meat on the bone when you start telling people. And that goes to the education piece and who's responsible for the education piece.
Right.
Last time I used the analogy, a J. Cole song is called Brackets, where he talk about, why we can't just have an app since I'm paying all these taxes. Why I just can't have an app and I go on the app and I fund what I want to fund. And in a perfect world, that would be wonderful.
Yeah.
But we don't operate like that.
Right.
And as you see, in a world where we have rules and regulations, things that need to be funded are still not being funded.
That's right.
So, can you imagine what it would look like if the powers that be, or that top 1%, that top 2% of the wealthy in the country had an opportunity to be able to put that money where they wanted the money to be? It would be crazy. You talk about impoverished schools and impoverished states and school districts. It would be astronomical. So for me, the education piece is helping people understand that look like me, that stood in line to vote for me, is I need to educate you on, for instance, how ordinance is passed, or how a bill gets passed. Because a lot of people don't understand those processes. And it's left up to us as the community leaders, or those people that are put in place, or the people that were hired for that specific job, to make sure that people understand what's going on in the governmental affairs, how it operates and how it moves. And so education for me is a big piece. You got a lot of kids, they say democracy is too slow. But in order for us to get where we need to be, we need to help them understand how the process moves. It goes all the way back to when they came over on the Mayflower and discovered America. You know, when they set up the colonies, they started thinking about, whoa, you can't tax us if we don't have representation.
That's
no
right.
taxation without representation.
Right.
And so that's an important piece that, you know, they knew about way back in the day before South Carolina was even, you know, discovered or found his name. But, you know, those are the things that we have to think about. And those are the things that we have to look back at and say. And of course, it's 2022. That's just some historical stuff that I'm talking about. And just groundwork and things that you think about as a leader when you're thinking about how you move in the community and things that you do. But we have to readjust how we operate and how we approach people. Bishop tells me all the time, he's like, "Boy, you're a leader amongst the people." And you know, the first time that he said that, I really didn't understand exactly what he said. But then you start having conversations with people, and the excitement that they feel for you or for whoever is because they can relate. And they saying to themselves, "Oh my God, they allow someone that's among the people to be a part of the process."
Absolutely.
And so sometimes it incites people to want to know more about the process. And then sometimes it's just people sit back and say, "Well, I'm good as long as he's there."
Right.
So it's a lot of different angles and things that you need to look at when you start talking about that.
Well, let me ask you that. Because there's a lot of people be like, "Oh, we got him in there. You know, I'm good." Is that the right attitude to have, though?
2010 proved that it was not the right attitude to have.
What happened in 2010?
2008, we rose to the occasion and we stood in line for hours and hours.
Yes, we did.
To elect President Barack Obama. And then in 2010, we dropped the ball.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
We dropped the ball because we didn't give President Barack Obama the tools that he needed to be able to be successful, because a lot of people don't understand. You know how many people tell me, "Oh man, I don't vote in the midterms." And it doesn't make any sense for someone who understands the process. But I can't knowledge shame anybody because they don't know.
They don't know.
Yeah. You know, as we think on a national level, I always try to redirect us to the local level.
Right.
And as a local leader, you know, people will always say, "I'm running for office," and then can I have your endorsement? You know, I tell people their biggest endorsement is service. You know, that's what gets you reelected. That's what gets you elected. That's what gets you that higher and fire. So if anyone's out here, you know, thinking about political office, serve first. Because to get elected is just a rise to a call of leadership. You don't necessarily see in your head that you become elected official. Someone else sees it because they want to put you in the seat. You can't put yourself in the seat.
Yeah, that's true.
You have to do the work where these people say, "My voice matters, my vote matters," and it costs me. I mean, look at the price of each vote. Someone bled on Edmund Pettus Bridge.
Facts.
Someone was hosed down. Someone was put under black codes. This just didn't, you know, happen overnight. This is centuries of oppression, and we want to just give it away and say, "Don't use it." No, it costs too much to vote. And so this thing has to be treated very valuable and priceless for every vote. I always say this, if you don't think every vote matters, shouts out to my brother, my friend, he knows who I'm talking about. I lost the election which by the count of 21 votes in the totality of it, in a runoff. And there were 21 precincts.
Wow.
One vote apiece changed the outcome of that election.
Wow.
All right, the range was actually I think it was 21 votes. I could be off and on because that's been almost 7 years.
Yeah.
But that's how much votes matter. They count every time. So if you tell me votes don't count, that's a lie. They do count.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And
can we address the elephant in the room though?
What's up?
The reason why it's hard to get people to come out and vote and be a part of the process is because a lot of times people get elected and they get into positions and then they change. They're not approachable anymore. They're not out in the community and doing the things that they were doing beforehand. I got elected and somebody came to me and said, you sure do a lot. You need to pace yourself. You're going to burn yourself out.
Wow.
And I looked at him with a straight face and said, I'm doing the same thing I was doing before I got elected.
Mm-hmm.
You just watching now.
Yeah.
And so it's an imaginary line for the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And some people run for office to get to the other side.
Wow.
And then when they get to the other side, they assimilate what's on the other side.
Yeah.
And so once they start assimilating what's on the other side, those people that they were amongst before they got to the other side, they don't recognize them no more.
Wow.
And I'm not sitting here saying that, you still can do the same things you used to do. You can't, because you're a leader and you got responsibility. And like you said, there's people that voted for you, that believe in you, and you need to make sure you hold the standard.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I use a hashtag a lot of times when I post stuff on social media, and it says, don't forget about the people.
Facts.
Because that's very, very, very important. And so getting to the other side and assimilating what you think you should be doing because you made it over there, it was really making people turn their listening devices off when you start talking, because now they're saying in their mind, hey, he's just like them. He doesn't have time for us anymore until it's time for him to be reelected.
Honestly, I think, and to tie what you said, because of the assimilation and because their environment, the language even changed.
Yes.
So they can't even relate to you because you're speaking a language that they don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
And again, like you said, now, Derek, I help you on the campaign trail. But this is the same Derek I know from before he got elected.
Never
His
switch
language
up.
hasn't changed. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's what I respect about you. Matter of fact, you both here with little old me. On my show. You know what I'm
Get out of
saying?
here, man.
You're a superhero, man.
Man, look, listen.
Ultra black.
But still, what I'm saying is, again, goes back to being on the level where people can understand. Where you both actually said yes. You've been here twice.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
And gonna continue to come.
Continue to
as
come.
long as you tell me to come, I'm coming.
So that I think that is real important for people to see, this is not aired on CNN, this is not aired on Fox, this is not aired on Watch with WLTX and none of that. But you guys didn't find it robbery to address people like me and the people that you serve.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that is important.
But man, you cannot neglect or reduce the power of exponential growth, exponential increase, right? There's a book, man, if anyone ever wants to read it, it's called Contagious.
Okay.
And it says one person can tell 9 out of 10 people, right? So it's 10 people. And the one person can tell the other 9 how to eat, how to act, how to walk, how to think. And so things can become contagious. Like you may say that this is not CNN, but you think about how fast you found out about Chris Rock getting slapped by Will Smith.
That's true.
And guess what? You told someone else who
Yeah.
didn't.
Yeah.
No one kept it
Yeah.
to themselves.
That's
It
true.
became very contagious.
That's true.
And it took over the internet
Facts.
because it was just told by one person. So we're here to just at least tell one person
Yeah.
about what they
Yeah.
need to know so we can empower them to give exponential opportunity and responsibility to our total community. So whether it's 1 or 1,000, I'm still do what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
I know I'm here as a pastor as well, and just a quick story. My dad, he's the pastor of the church that I'm pastoring.
Okay.
And one day I come in there.
Legacy and ministry. That's what I'm
Amen.
talking
Praise the Lord.
Go ahead.
Amen.
Go
Preacher's
for it.
kid. And so I come in there. It's no one in the church. The church sits like 200, 300 people. No one in the church. He's steady preaching. So I don't see nobody there. All I see is my dad. And I say, hey, Dad, hey, Dad. He's like, hey, sit down, son. We're having church. Man, this man loses his mind. What's he talking about? He's like, son, sit down. You know, he keeps on preaching.
Wow.
Next thing you know, he says, are there any prayer requests? It's just me. You could have asked me that at home. All right, then he took up offering. He did the closing prayer and everything. And when he did that benediction, he said, let's go home, son. As we're walking out, I said, Dad, what was all that about? He said, I had to teach you a lesson. Whether it's 1 or 1,000, you do your job. You know what I'm saying? So when we are here as elected officials, we got to do our job. You know, because all means all.
Yeah.
Whether it's 1 or 1,000, man, we're here to help all. And, you know, that could be a challenge sometimes because what make this person happy don't always make that person happy.
That's true. That is true.
But then as elected officials, we walk in and try to become that common denominator, that person who creates this peace and harmony to make sure one goes in front of the other. And that's a challenge.
I'm about to hop off this seat because I know I'm not the host of the show, but you need to ask him the question.
Go ahead.
Ask him the question about Lindsey Graham and about Jamie Harrison and Lindsey Graham.
Okay. You talking about how I asked you that time?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to set this up. So
it's a great segue for what you just said.
All right, let's go.
So I'm going to set this up, right? When we look at the election, I don't have the data in front of me, but I'm going to bring it. I think it was only like maybe 300,000 votes or 200,000 votes, one of the two. But I'm going to do it by percentages. Lindsey Graham had 51 to 52% of the votes.
Yeah.
Jamie Harrison had 49 to 48% of South Carolina votes. If they both represent a certain ideal or a certain thing that South Carolina needs and wants, why did not Lindsey Graham say, well, let me look at this, basically the other 50% of the people that I'm serving and adopt what they need? Why wasn't that, that essentially is a bipartisan effort because you represent now the whole pie. But do you only serve the 53% that voted for you? Why do we see that so often?
You wanted me to answer that question?
I answered it the last time.
Answer it again.
Say he don't care. He could care less. He could care less what the other 49% had to say because, you know, at the end of the day, he won.
Yeah.
And I used the analogy that tell me who was the other opponent in the Super Bowl in 2018.
No one remembers.
But you can tell me who the winner was.
Yeah.
So, those are the types of things that we had to look at, but he could care less.
In this case, Jamie lost the election, but I believe Jamie still won the hearts of many.
He did.
And, to raise that amount of money, the Bible says, where your heart is, so is your treasure.
Where your treasure
Our heart was with Jamie Harrison.
Facts.
We believed that we could win. And, I feel bad about the results because I was part of his faith team. And I went across this state feeding people from church grounds. I went to meetings where we had prayer and hosted, podcasts like this with faith leaders. And I never saw that outcome, man. Because, man, the truth is, Lindsey Graham shot himself in the foot several times.
Several.
Politically, he had a lot of hiccups. And when that showed up, even when I went to the upstate to look at the voter turnout, I did something where we were dealing with people who stood in line for hours and they were hungry and needed, libation and water, and we fed people.
Yeah.
And you should have seen the outcome of the people up there in the upstate, but the upstate was completely red.
Yeah.
To this day, man, I have a post-traumatic outcome, post-traumatic syndrome from that because I didn't see that Red Sea coming. So I would tell you, Lindsey Graham has his supporters, and they're strong, and they're unnoticed because when I went throughout the state, you didn't see any Lindsey Graham signs. You saw walls and murals and commercials for Jamie. And that was the outcome?
Yeah.
So to answer your question, man, he's going to continue to serve his population.
Oh, yeah.
And we got to understand that we have to grow the vote. Now, when Derrek said earlier, we got to do a better job informing our people, well, you know, that means that we got to teach voter awareness.
Education.
Voter education. Know where you vote. Know, you know, what that poll looks like. Do stuff to get the vote out way before then. Because when we did the mail-in ballots, it gave us a shot.
Absolutely.
And it still wasn't enough.
Right.
Imagine what it's going to be like next.
Yeah.
This is a fight.
Do you think that outcome, because essentially, I mean, my heart was broken. You going through PTSD. What do you think that does for the people? Like, just to see the effort put in. I think the only hope we got is what Georgia did for changing red to blue. That's the only hope we got.
Well, we're dealing with a society of instant gratification. You post something on social media, you get instant gratification from likes and loves. You know, somebody used the example, they'll go stand in line to buy Jordans, but they won't stand in line to vote. Well, buying Jordans is instant gratification.
You know,
I can stand in line.
You got them on right now,
I ain't standing in line for these. They stand in line, but when it's all said and done, they have something tangible in their hands.
Yeah.
And it's sad that that's the current state of the society for us. But at the end of the day, we got to figure out as transformational leaders what we need to do to make the same impact that euphoria that sets over them when they get those Jordans in their hand. And I hate to use Jordans as an example, but
use Air Force Ones. Check these ones out. You see these ones?
You got Air Force Ones.
That's a $40 pair right there.
Hey,
straight from the barbershop.
I know that's right. Hey, listen. The commissioner's lying. He did not buy any shoes from barbershop.
I'm not.
Hey,
that's funny.
But that's the type of society that we're living in. So, I mean, it has to be some type of education on the grand scale with those people that can relate.
Yeah.
For instance, my man that just became mayor in Atlanta.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Andre.
Andre.
Dre had people that was influential in the community on different sides that could relate to those people that needed instant gratification. I always go back to the saying of us as a people, we are too reactionary to be revolutionary.
Woo.
And when you look at it,
Come on,
now.
Put that in the chat right now.
Come on.
Too reactionary to be revolutionary. And this is crazy. I got to give credit where credit is due. I got that saying from a middle-aged white lady. And she was talking about people as a whole. And I say it for our people. It takes things for us to be motivated. It took George Floyd being killed for us to be marching. It takes something. It took Barack Obama and the passion that he had in 2008 for us to go out in droves and vote because we were voting for something that we was proud of. And so we have to have that same enthusiasm when it comes to voting as a whole. I think on the last documentary, Use Your Voice, I used the example of how people will see the democratic process and say, it's flawed. It's flawed. But I'm going to continue to say that, and I'm going to press that message out through my media. But my people on the side, I'm telling them now, I'm going to tell these people that it's flawed, but y'all still go out there and do what y'all supposed to do. Y'all still go vote.
Well, you know, Derrek, we have to be careful of the narrative that is constantly going out there to discourage black votes to turn out.
Right.
I don't make this a black vote thing, but it is what it is. You know, you even look at the recent mayor race. In certain communities of Columbia, it peaked out. I mean, they had maximum turnout, but in certain communities, there were minimum turnout.
Right.
It's because someone is making people believe that the vote does not matter. We fought for this thing, man. You know, and I know we keep going back to all the historical evidence, but it's local and recent evidence that if we don't vote, we don't get, you know, a result that can help. Now, the truth is, I don't think there's an enemy for the black community necessarily. There are people who are great allies and want to help every community. However, when you don't vote, then you don't get what you need on the agenda for those municipalities. Because they believe, I'm gonna call it what it is, when the community is silent, they get silent treatment.
Right.
Yeah, listen, I believe that there are times when a community's not turning up to vote, that people will turn their blind eye to that community. Because those who vote gonna get people reelected.
Right.
So they go and be like, yes, what you need. Okay, I'll do it. I'll take care of that. But when it's a lack of voting, they're not listening. Your vote is loud. Your vote is loud. That's what I'm trying to get across. Your vote is loud.
Wow.
And not only that, guess what? Your attendance to the meetings are louder.
Yes, sir.
And that's what we may need to talk about. Not just showing up to the polls.
Exactly.
Show up to our meetings.
And that's the heading of the topic is, I voted, now what?
Yes.
I got a great example. I deal with a lot of rezoning deals and issues in the district that I represent. And I tell people all the time, hey, I need you to come out. I'm gonna have a town hall. I need you to come out and voice your opinion. Sometimes we get a good turnout, and sometimes we get a lot of lackluster turnout. And then people say, well, you know what we want. We already told you we don't need you to come out. That's not the case. I can't go in. I'm giving you an opportunity to be in front of developers and those people that are asking, and that you can voice your opinion and tell them what your concerns are so they can kind of work around it to, you know, so we can come to a happy medium. But people feel like they don't have to come out. And they look at me and say, well, we voted you in to do this right here.
You're supposed to represent us.
Yeah. So I can't go to a developer and say, hey, we're going to allow you to build in this area and give you the zoning that you need, but you got to do A, B, and C. I'm going to jail. I'm sorry, comfort.
Don't choke up, bro. Don't choke up.
I'm not going to jail.
You that scared of jail.
Yes, I am, sir. Like, you get in some big trouble behind that. That's called contractual zoning. You can't do that. But what I can do is I can provide a platform for those that have concerns. And ever since I said jail, that ain't been right. But
don't worry, but they'll let you out.
I can provide a platform for people to be able to voice their opinions and may be able to tell that developer how they feel. And the developer might see fit to be able to do whatever they're asking them to do. But I can't do it.
Got it.
And so it's important for us to give these people a platform, but it's also important for them to show up again.
So I think that goes back to the education piece, because a lot of people they didn't know anything about, I didn't know anything about contractual
zoning.
Right. Well, that's because a lot of us don't even know about zoning, period. You know, they just know that something happened. Now my kids don't go to the school no more, or you know, now I don't vote at this place no more. They don't know what happened.
Yeah,
but you know,
and that's another part of zoning. The part of zoning I was talking about is when it's zoned for a specific area, like buildings,
residential, commercial.
Yeah, commercial, residential, and they want to change it, and they want to come in and change it, and they got to ask. But
henceforth, while where we literally are right now is businesses right here and houses right back there. It's probably the zoning that did that. Wow.
Yeah, but you know the zoning can change from. Correct me if I'm wrong. There, you can have mobile homes. next to a mansion. If the zoning is that tricky,
if
right?
it's that tricky, these people who put up some fight. But if it's that tricky,
Yeah,
Right.
if you're not paying attention.
Yeah.
But that's why you have responsible people sitting in the seat to say, hey, you know, what does that really look like?
Yeah.
Because a person may look at their property, you know, going up or down because of zoning.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna make this appeal. Listen, this is Kingdom Culture TV, and we have, of course, this is a Black-owned network, and it's important for us to have Black-owned networks so that we can talk about specific issues or specific targets that affects the Black community. So if you are willing to educate on these different topics in which they bring up, like, come to me, like, send me a message on whatever platform that you're using. Facebook, if you're seeing this on Facebook, send me a message on Facebook. If you're seeing this on YouTube or Twitter, send me a direct message. So, because I am willing to be a network to allow my platform for people to understand what this is, because this is even new to me, and I'm involved. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I think it's important for that education piece. Maybe, I mean, you guys may not have to do it directly, but somebody knows, you know, more of what you guys talking about, and you have access to Kingdom Culture TV to do exactly educating the people on. So you can't say, I don't know what to do with it. This is a platform. We have Facebook page, we got YouTube page, we have Twitter page. Soon we're about to have LinkedIn.
That's what's up.
Yeah, so it's going to be, we're going to have a blog channel, so it can be written. So all of that stuff is going to be, so you can't say you don't have excuse, you don't know where to put that out. So we're going to be connected with the community. So all we need is someone to say, I'm willing to educate the people on different issues and stuff like that happen in the community.
And it's the important part for me is that, and I may be off with the percentages. This is the Derrek Pughism of what I think. I haven't gotten these numbers from anywhere, but I believe it's about 75% of the population that really don't understand what our jobs are and what we do. And you can tell because of those are the people that are not engaged. They're only engaged when something happens and they want to be engaged. And that's not bad because people got everyday lives. They're trying to make livable wages. You got family, kids, all that stuff. It plays a big role in it. But 25% are super engaged. They know exactly what's going on.
That's about right. 3 out of 4. 1 out of 4.
Yeah, what's going on? Why is this happening? What's going to happen if this happens? And so, we need more people to be involved and engaged.
You also said something that was very important, that the people that's not engaged is so focused on certain issues to their everyday life. But they don't realize that you guys' position affects their everyday life. Maybe it's the one thing that they're trying to push towards you guys are the answer to. Just like I said, local elections. They matter. I say they matter the most because they're the one that's closest to you.
Yeah, it's one that's closer to you and you can actually put your hands on the person that made the decision.
Absolutely.
Not literally put your hands on the person that made the decision.
Please don't.
Not literally.
No Will Smith.
You know what I'm saying?
No Will Smith.
You know what I'm saying?
But you see these people every day.
Yeah.
And you can see the decisions that they make take hold within a week or a month. Those things are important. And it's public information. Public information.
Yeah. It's public service.
Right.
And that's something that should be honored and respected. And the truth is that I don't believe you get rich off public service, man. You sometimes are paying back, not monetarily, but with your time. Like when we are out here having meetings from 4 o'clock in the afternoon to sometimes 12 o'clock at night, dealing with policies, and that's just a meeting, then you got to go, like I got to go visit schools and see how the children are doing. I got to hear, from the community and go to neighborhood meetings. Then I got to turn around and go over here to this this event and represent the school district, speak on behalf of this, and come back and have a committee meeting in the middle of the week. But I still got to pay my own bills.
That's true.
And so I don't want anyone to believe that, we're getting this astronomical amount of money.
Yeah.
We're here giving out of our heart, our soul, and our mind back to our community because we want our community better. That's it.
That's it.
That's all it is. That's all it's about. So public service, man, it's an honor to do, but it's a huge lift to execute.
Yeah.
And so appreciate your elected officials if they are doing the right job by constantly going back to the polls and showing up to their meetings. So when they voice, this is what my constituents are looking for. This is what my community wants. It's a crowd out there that you can say, those are the people that have told me this is what they want. Because this is one vote. Out of a whole council. This is one vote out of a whole board of commissioners. I got to make sure my voice counts because their voice counts.
That's true. It's funny. You said that that your job is a public service, and I feel like my job, even as a host of a Black-owned network, is a public service as well. Because if a tree falls in the forest and nobody around to hear it, did it really fall? Did it make a sound?
Right.
So it's my job. On the same documentary, Andre said, he was saying that everybody have their place. And just like when they was marching around the walls of Jericho, like everybody had their place. So you shout. He told me to shout from my journalism spot. He'll shout from his advocacy spot. Y'all shout from the position that you are. And when we shout together, when we do our part together,
that's right.
Walls come down.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's real. That's real.
Yeah. But talking about walls coming down, how do you feel as Black men, your representation as being a Black man, how important that is for people to see you doing what you're doing?
I think visualization comes before actualization. When I go do, read alouds with young kids, man, and some of our children, they may not see their father every day. They may see him once a month, twice a month. Even not in just the capacity as a school board member, I'm trying to be a leader just period. I go to the field and I'm there just as a father to my son who plays baseball. I'm a father to all those kids. And so we have to be village warriors. We have to be men who say this is what we're standing for and we're not going to lay down or sit down. We have to make sure that they see it because let's talk about the Bible again, right? Remember when Moses was dealing with the people's complaints and challenges.
Right.
And Jethro came and told him, listen, Moses, you're going to wear yourself out. You need to get some more elders. You need to get some more people. Well, leaders beget leaders, or men make men. And so as a elected official or a community leader, I want people to see me lead, not by just talk, but also thought and talent and time. And so the more we do that, we have to help other people become those transformational leaders. It's not enough of us. And when people talk about equality versus equity, that's equity. When you put leaders in the community that really want to make more leaders. And that's what my job, that's my role is, to help other people not lead by, again, not by title, but by influence. The word leadership even comes from the Latin word influenza. And which means that it's something that has like a flu factor to it. It becomes contagious. Imagine that if we can talk about how contagious this pandemic was, what if we talk about how contagious leadership is? When we talk about what happened with Will and Chris Rock, I think that's a microcosm of men in our society who don't know how to be men amongst men.
Absolutely.
Right? And so here's what I saw as well. Now here's a man who literally deals with another man because of what happened with a woman.
Come on now, break it down.
All right, I'm gonna
Break
make
it
that
down.
plain. Here's a man who deals with another man because it was something happening to a woman. 1 week before that, there was another man who was dealing with another man and some other women who was dealing with another woman. You know what that was? That was the soon-to-be Justice Brown.
Right. Right.
And Cory Booker spoke up.
Yes, he did.
And instead of dealing with the other men, he just empowered the woman. He spoke life into her and said, listen, I am proud of you. You deserve this. You are worthy of this. You're well qualified. And I'm not letting anyone steal my joy. Now, those are two different dynamics, but both are men.
Right.
You know, when Will, I mean, if we segue to it, Will was laughing.
He was.
It was.
He was.
And when he looked over to the left and saw that his wife wasn't laughing,
Yeah. Dynamics.
he took those emotions and dealt with it. And I think it's really, in what's going to be a historical point of view, out of hand.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
Cory Booker saw the woman who's about to be our next justice getting mishandled. He took her emotions, practiced emotional intelligence, and said, you know what I'm going to do? Forget them. It's all about you. There could have been several ways that Will could have shown leadership.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Will has always been known as a good guy. He was Mr. 4th of July for a long time. Remember that? Every 4th of July, he was
still
saving
is.
the world.
Yeah.
He still is.
And so the whole lesson of it is that, you know, are we going to forgive him? Because, you know, we talk about reactionary to revolutionary.
Yeah.
Are we going to forgive him?
But, you know, for me, just diving into that, we all humans, we make mistakes.
We do.
But when you're at a certain level of influence and a certain level of leadership, that box is really small.
Very.
Oh yeah.
So it ain't too many, you can't go too far to the right. You can't go too far to the left.
That's in the scripture, man.
You got to keep it in the road. And so you're absolutely right, man. It could have been handled so many different ways. I mean, you know, we have talks all the time about how, and just uplifting each other because as elected officials, people talk crazy to us.
Oh, man.
People,
Sorry, did I say that out loud?
Yeah.
People
Not loud enough.
I had to one night because I had to give my wife a bird's eye view of what I deal with on a weekly basis. And I had a real crazy phone call that was on my voicemail and I had to let her hear it. And she was mortified. She was like, how often does this happen?
Oh.
I said, on a weekly basis. I said, but I don't share that with you because we collectively signed up for this together.
They have no idea,
but
man.
I handle this because I don't want your emotions to be all tangled up into this.
Yeah.
And so,
Lester, you're right. To whom much is given, much is required.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so,
but some of these things aren't warranted either.
no, they're not. It's important. It's important as the men and the leaders in our families to make sure that we protect our wives and our kids from those people that are doing those types of things because exactly what Bishop said, if I take my wife's emotions and I react off of them because I want her to feel safe and feel strong
And loved.
then I have to make intelligent decisions about how I move and how I operate.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Will could have got up, walked on that stage,
Whispered in
and
his
he
ear.
could have whispered in his ear and told him what he was going to do to him. But, you know, that's water under the bridge right now. And,
You know, go ahead. finish your
no.
point.
I just think, you know, my mind went several different ways because now I'm thinking to myself, like, how many other people think it's going to just be okay to walk up and slap somebody like that?
Yeah. No, that's assault.
Yeah.
But you know, man,
It is.
when I say this, my wife, me and her had a discussion about this like everybody else. You know, sticks and stones may hurt my bones, but words will never what? Hurt me.
Yeah.
One of the biggest lies.
Yes,
Yeah.
very much so.
Words hurt.
Yeah.
And if you don't know, go out here and be called out your name.
Yeah.
And the truth is, people must understand it's not what they call you, it's what you answer to as well. But look at President Barack Obama doing his State of the Union address. And locally, one of our elected officials.
Yeah, right here from South Carolina.
Right here from Columbia, yells out, "You lie."
You lie.
And did you see his restraint? Obama could have been like, "Man, who are you talking to?" Right? And his ratings would have went all the way down, and he would have been like, maybe a part of the nation would have been like, "Yeah, Obama, yeah," like they did Will, right?
Right.
When Will slapped Chris first, there was a lot of people like, now you need to get you a Will Smith on your side, especially a lot of women, right?
Yeah.
You know, but then everybody started really reflecting. Wow, man, he could have showed some restraint.
Yeah.
Back to Obama. Obama looked to the left and put his hand back down and kept going about his course. Because there are going to be times when people want leaders to fall. When you fall from leadership, it's hard to get back up.
You know what's funny?
Well,
I'm gonna tell you what's funny. Audrey Ellis, who played the wife of King Richard, was on the Breakfast Club a week ago, addressing the fact that they asked her a question about something that was said at an award show towards Venus Williams. And her answer to it was, "That's a distraction. Here we are at an interview. We need to be talking about the movie. And now we gave center space to talk about something that has nothing to do with the movie." Will got the biggest award of the night. The award that he worked his whole entire career to get. And nobody's talking about it because of actions that he made.
So let's talk about that. And this is going to segue to, as leaders, we have to really employ and encourage our community to take advantage of. Something that Will Smith was challenged with. You mentioned King Richard, right? Do you realize that most of those actors, when they take on those personalities, they become those people?
Yeah.
Remember, like at one point in time, when Will played Muhammad Ali, I thought he was Muhammad Ali.
Absolutely.
When Jamie Foxx played
Ray.
Ray, I
Charles.
thought that was Ray.
Denzel does it the best. though.
Denzel, all right. Heath Ledger who played Batman. Remember, he played that dark version of the Joker. It was not Batman, it was Joker.
Yeah.
And he committed suicide.
He talked about that, yeah.
Many of us, we have to stay in character so much that it could be detrimental to our mental health. And what I'm telling people is that as a leader, I want you to get 3 people in your life. I want you to find a counselor who deals with your past, a therapist who deals with your present, and a coach who helps you get to your future.
Wow.
All 3 of those are needed in our community because
Say that one more time, they didn't catch
you
that.
need a counselor who helps you deal with your past. You need a therapist who helps you deal with your present. And you need a coach, like a spiritual coach, life coach, who helps you encounter your future.
Wow.
Because these challenges that we're facing, I saw it with Will.
Yeah.
That wasn't Will.
Yeah.
That wasn't
broken.
parents just don't understand.
Yeah.
Nah.
That wasn't getting jiggy with it. It was King Richard.
Yeah.
King
He said
Richard
it in
walked
his
on that
speech.
stage, man,
He said it in
and
his speech.
slapped Chris Rock. And guess what? It's because King Richard was the personality that came out of him.
Wow.
Because he was tired of being pushed around. King Richard was a G, bruh, but he had to go through so much in Compton to get those girls to become who they were.
Yeah.
And so when you look at what Will Smith went through for the last year, his wife talking about him this way on public TV, on Red Table Talk, he's getting handled by the community on social media.
Yeah.
He becomes one of the sad memes that floats around. He was a ticking time bomb.
Yeah.
And so some of us, we may be out there dealing with challenges, man.
True.
And if we don't get that thing addressed, and as leaders, we're telling people to get it addressed, you may get mad and start slapping anybody.
Yeah. That's true.
This is the community need. This is what we have to talk about.
Yeah.
We can talk about all of the education you want to understand with county council and school
board.
district.
Yeah.
But in my capacity, it may be parents slapping parents at a baseball game.
Yeah.
It may be parents slapping parents at a basketball game.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's because people got to learn how to deal with conflict.
And it comes back again to what we was talking about in the voting side. It's education. I spent some time with some good friends of mine, and one of my friends' family just went through a death, And he was telling us, hey man, it's like, how your mom doing? She not doing too good, I just found out. The topic of conversation was, hey man, you might need to encourage her to get some counseling. His thought process, very intelligent brother. His thought process was, why does she need a counselor when I'm her counselor? I talk to her every day. I know what she been through. And I try to explain to my friend, like, hey man, like, that's the problem. You know what she's been through. And you biased because that's your mom.
Okay.
I don't care how much you tell her about herself. Deep down inside, you're still biased because that's your mom.
That's right.
And so counseling is very important because you're dealing with people that don't know who you are, and they're just hearing your story overall and what's bothering you. And they give you very good sound advice.
Wow.
And in our community, that's looked upon. And
Yeah.
it's frowned upon.
Yeah.
Because back in the day, boy, Bishop crazy. You go to counselors. Y'all
gonna see the shrink.
They're gonna see the shrink. Y'all better leave him alone. Y'all better leave him alone. Y'all know he crazy. Like that kind of stuff, man.
Yeah.
And just like I remember as a little kid, somebody say, "You took your crazy pill today?" Like it's a negative connotation on your mental stability and mental health.
Yeah.
And that's what's killing us in our community.
That's true.
And as leaders, man, the stuff that we deal with, people think that we get dressed, put on suits, and go. People think our job, and this is talking, I hope I don't offend anybody, but I'm just being honest. We do more than go to halls and eat and have drinks. And we're lucky to get that break to be able to go down there and do that. But that's what they think. Most people think that we do. And, it's just so hard to explain to people. That's why education and being down and being amongst the people and not assimilating, because your back is already up against the wall with perception.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
Let me ask you this. What can you guys do to bridge the gap? Because from a constituent standpoint, they may see some leaders who they don't feel like are touchable. But you guys are in leadership positions where you guys are touchable and you can touch them too.
Yeah, I think we're speaking to it right now, man. We're doing just what we need to do and being courageous enough to have this courageous conversation of truth-telling about what matters. So me and Derrek, because of our elected official positions, we deal with infrastructure a lot. We're always trying to put the resources to certain places to make sure that void is handled. But there's also social infrastructure needs.
What's that?
We're talking about building people. Frederick Douglass said it this way, it's better to build children than to repair broken men.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
right.
I don't believe you can't do both. I believe you can. You can do both. And when you build the people, they'll take care of the community. So we could probably vote tomorrow, and this is not a real scenario, and put millions of dollars of resources into the community. But the people minds aren't built. The investment of whatever we put there physically could be torn down.
Oh, absolutely.
So we have to continuously talk about things like this to build the people. So let's really take time to do research on what the blight in community does to people's psychology. Right?
Wow.
When kids see trash as they walk to school.
Oh my goodness.
Right? When they see just the signs of poverty.
Yeah.
Poverty isn't the lack of money, it's the lack of anything. And when that's evident in your community, you begin to have a poor or a impoverished mind. And so I think as leaders, we're speaking to it. We are trying to say, let's be responsible. Let's take care of our village. Let's not just look at people who are sitting in the position of authority as elected officials to do it. We need everyone anyone to step up and be a part of it. So
Sweet.
that's my point.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Is there anything you guys want to address?
No,
Since
man.
we having real talk, I mean,
Man, I'm about to dress my bedtime.
yeah. I want to respect that too.
I really, really just sitting here talking and sitting and having this conversation. I think we need to continue this conversation.
Yes.
And I think we need to add more brilliant minds to this conversation to get other perspectives of what this looks like for other people. And I got some really good people in mind that we can bring on to give different perspectives. But man, listen, it's very, very important for us to, one, educate, steadfast on the things that we believe in, and continue to be a beacon of light and a pillar in our community. Those things matter so much to me.
Yeah.
And I think it's very, very important for the future of where we are. I believe in when I see someone young that's interested in becoming a politician or getting into community service, and they call and they want to talk, it's important for me to make time for them.
Right.
And it's important for me not to see them as a threat.
Yeah.
It's important for me to see them as someone
that's huge.
that is going to help us carry this torch, because as my brother just said a few minutes ago, it's not many of us. And you can find that it's not many of us because when we get these phone calls, I got to play a little test with the people. I say, hey, we got a lot of vacancies on some of these commissions and boards. If you want to, be a part, have your voice heard, and not five out of 10, 6 out of 10 may say no. And that other 4 may, well, I didn't know it was any vacancies. Yeah, I'm interested. So, those are the things that we have to keep doing and we have to keep pressing forward. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. Sometimes I wake up in the morning and I think to myself, man, what have I got myself into? And not from the perspective of me not loving what I do, but as Bishop just said a few minutes ago, to whom much is given, much is required.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's round the clock things that we have to do.
Yeah.
We have an interview with you here. I got to be up at 5 o'clock in the morning because I got to go to somewhere, and because I got to go see somebody in the community, and they're not going to be here, but they need to see me, so I'm going to meet somebody at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
And so that's important to me, and I never thought twice about it because that's what I signed up for.
Got it.
So
Got it.
we got to keep pushing forward, man.
Yeah, man, there's something we live by. Derek knows this. We gotta lift as we climb.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you see that picture of the black person reaching over the wall to reach down to pull someone up. Well, I always looked at that picture and wondered how many people were down there.
Wow.
Yeah, it's more people outside that picture that we have to keep pulling up.
Yeah.
Well, if it's only one person pulling, someone's gonna get tired.
That's true.
Yeah, and so we need more pullers. We got pushers, people who pray until something happens. We don't need PUS, PUSH, pray until something happens. We need people.
Faith without works is dead.
You gotta work, man. You gotta work.
You gotta be open and honest about the work.
Yeah.
And then you can't be radical in what you do because you have to make room for everybody, because in order for you to be successful, everybody at the table can't look like you, think like you.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
That diversity
So,
matters.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. Man, I appreciate both
No,
of
we
you
appreciate
guys.
you, Shante, man. It was amazing. Man, I love to come back too, man. We want to have more conversations.
I got
Absolutely.
a PSA.
What's up? Go for it.
This a camera?
Yep, go for it.
I want everybody to know that me and Bishop did not plan to dress alike. This is not a kid and play venture.
I'm dancing, because look here. We look like a rap group, man. EPMD don't have nothing on me.
That's funny,
So,
man.
but thank you, Shante, man.
Hey,
For
absolutely.
all day.
seeing the vision of having this
Yeah, man.
and having the discussion and willing to allow us to come on and just have candid, real talk. Man.
Yeah,
That's what we don't have a lot of that.
Yeah.
And we're working on creating a space for this type of conversation, but not being broadcast, but this type of conversation amongst men that look like us.
Yeah.
So it's not a Will Smith. But what we didn't talk about, we didn't talk about the uplift that occurred when the cameras went off, when Denzel and Tyler Perry went over and consoled Will and made sure that brought him back to where he needed to be.
Yeah.
And that's important. We don't do that in our community. We don't tell people, we don't tell our brothers we love each other. My friends, we do, but it's not common. And you can see, when you're talking to a man and you tell him you love him, because y'all had that type of relationship and there's no response, then might be broken a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's okay.
And just not used to it.
It's not used to
Not
it.
used
But
to
it's okay though.
Yeah.
Because you have become the example of what needs to happen.
Right.
And so in his mind, when he walks away, he's like, DP told me he loved me. You know what I'm saying? Most people would be like, I'm gonna do better and make sure that I reciprocate what was given to me.
Yeah.
And so we got to do a better job of that in our community. We don't do a good job with that.
That's kings. That's what kings do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another session of Real Talk. And again, I appreciate you guys for
We appreciate you, bro.
taking time out your busy schedule.
Great job, man.
Extending your bedtimes a little later.
That's exactly what the problem is.
Man. So again, guys, this is Kingdom Culture TV. If you enjoy and want to see more of this, again, there is a donate section that you can actually donate to Kingdom Culture TV. It's kingdomculture.club. You can actually donate. You can actually buy merchandise, like T-shirts. We got more cups.
Yeah.
Got the white cups this time. Got the black. Had the black cups last week. So visit kingdomculture.club, be a part of the club, and donate to a black-owned media company because we need these type of conversations to empower each other. And also, if you on YouTube, go back to the importance of black-owned media. Listen to my presentation on why it's important for us to have black-owned media. I'm not going to go into it tonight, but listen to that conversation. You will further understand why it's important for you to support your own. All right, that's my time. And we'll see y'all on the next Real Talk. Y'all have a good night.